Hello, hello, hello. I am Coach Liz.
Hello, hello, hello. I am Coach Michael Bart Matthews, and welcome to the Book Cafe. This is a safe space for your personal development and self-help journey. Today, we are featuring Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich book for success, Think and Grow Rich. And in his book, he journaled for 20 years for free to turn his manuscript into a book. And in that book are the 13 original principles. But today we're not going to tell you all 13 principles, even though we may discuss some of them in our conversation with you. But we're going to have an intentional focus on principle number one, which is desire. Now, here's another thing. Within principle number one, desire, Napoleon Hill also talks about the 6 ways to turn desires into goal. So without further ado, let's just deep dive into that number one golden nugget. Let's go. Are you ready? All right. Thanks, Dr. Liz, and everybody who's listening out there, whatever country you're in, whatever continent you're on, and whatever time zone that you're living in. Number one, fix in your mind the exact amount of money that you desire. That reminds me of a story in Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, of one of the stories in Think and Grow Rich. Back in, I think it was October 8th in 1871 in Chicago. In the middle of the night, the city woke up to burning flames, smoldering buildings. And when the sun came up, Chicago had burnt down. That was called the Great Chicago Fire. So the very next day, the Chicago businessmen came downtown and they gathered together. They had their accountants with them, their papers, their books, and they assessed the damage. And upon their assessment, they all said that it's too expensive to rebuild. We're going to leave, all except for one merchant. That one merchant stood there and said that I'm going to rebuild the greatest store that's ever been built, and they're going to have to keep burning it down. And that merchant was named Marshall Fields. And as you know, throughout the years, Marshall Fields has stores in so many different cities and states around the United States that his dream came true. How does that correlate to the very first principle about it fixing your mind the exact amount of money that you desire? So at least Marshall Fields had a starting point, and his starting point was before his store burnt down, meaning in order to build the first store, he had to have an end result of how much it cost to build the first store. Now, fast forward to after the store burnt down and he wanted to rebuild it, he probably took that starting point of his accountings, his outgoings, and his income, and started all over again with how much money that it needed in order to rebuild the store. And I'm sure in Marshall Field's mind, he wanted to build a bigger and better and more user-friendly store for the citizens of Chicago. And that's what he did. So in our own lives, how much money do you want to desire in your life comes to the type of job that you may take too. Just say for the people who work the 40-40-40 plan, meaning working 40 hours of your life, 40 hours of your life for 40 hours a day, sadly to say, to retire on 40% of your income. But if that's all you know, like that's all I knew at that time, that's what we did. So in order sometimes to get there, you have to go to step number two, determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money. So going back to the 40-40-40 plan, are you willing to work 40 hours a week for 40 years of your life, to retire on 40% of income, to make whatever that job title held out? Or let's switch over now our caps to the entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs that come from the 40-40-40 plan that turn into entrepreneurs did not know or did not realize that entrepreneurs work 80 to 100 hours a week versus the 40 hours a week. So are you willing to give that time to your entrepreneur business and work 80 to 100 hours a week, sometimes get no paycheck to build, grow, and scale your company from maybe a 6-figure business into a 7-figure business or into a multi-7-figure business and beyond? So that's determining what you're willing to do. Well, let's take a college student who wants to do the same thing. Are you willing to go to school for 2 years to get your associate's degree? Are you willing to go to school for 4 years to get your undergraduate degree? Are you willing to continue to get your master's degree? And are you really willing to continue to get your PhD? But like if you're like me and most entrepreneurs who are like me who already have a PhD, and that's what we call a public high school diploma. We don't knock brick and mortar education because brick and mortar education is what started this show off. But on the world of entrepreneurship, every day is a lifelong learning process. And that's how you obtain your PhD, your public high school diploma, by going through life's journey every day being an entrepreneur. Now, number 3, establish a definite date when you intend to possess the money you desire, meaning begin with the end in mind. Let's go back to the collegiate education because of most people, the majority of people do the brick and mortar thing, which was going to the brick and mortar university or online university to get the degree so they can definitely have that graduation. So let's say you go from the 2-year college education to the 4-year college education because you want to work at one of the major companies. I was going to name one, but I'll just say one of the major companies of your choice at a certain position at a certain salary. When you, in your junior year, you start going on interviews to these certain companies and you already know what the job requirement and salary holds for you. So is that something that you really want to do? So establish a definite date when you intend to possess the money that you desire. Or take an entrepreneur for an example. How much money do you want to generate from your business, and what is that definite date that you want to become at least a 6-figure business owner or higher, or a 7-figure business owner, or a multi-7-figure business owner? Then a wonder in generality means that you don't have a date at the end. You're not beginning with the end in mind, but being a meaningful specific, it also dictates that it gives you a sense of urgency. It gives you a sense of knowing your why, your reason or purpose, your goal or dream, in order to do the first 3 principles, and really all the first 6 steps of the golden nuggets about the 6 ways to turn desires into gold from the think and grow rich principles of Napoleon Hill. And those things can be written down in your journal and read in the Think and Grow Rich book, as you will plainly see. So I'm going to be quiet just for a little while because we both can talk. I'm going to pass the baton, or if we were with Dancing with the Stars, pass the mirror ball over to my partner, Dr. Liz Blanding.
Yes. And of course, before I even get started, y'all know I got to grab my sexy specs, right? Get that in position, right. Well, all right. Thank you, Coach Mike, because those first 3 principles, right? If we took our journals out and we began to write in our journals, because I capture every moment, even when you're talking, I make sure that I get those nuggets and rewrite them and repeat them so that they become a part of who I am. And that's why I love walking this journey of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, because it is, when you think about the title, even the title is so rich with information, right? Think and Grow Rich. Wow, that's amazing to me. So without further ado, I'm going to start with the 4th practical step. And the 4th practical step says, create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once. That means no procrastination. Begin at once. Once you put that commitment on the table, begin at once, whether you're ready or not, to put that plan into action. And that's what I love about the principles, right? Whether you're ready or not, because that means that you have a starting point, and it's a definite starting point. So now you can jump from where you are and just continue to grow. And that's what the book is designed to help you to continue to grow. And you can look back in your journal. Again, I keep mine handy. You can go back in your journal and see the progress that you've made as you continue to grow, right, and develop. So don't think you're just going to stay at that point. You're going to keep growing and keep developing, right? Okay, so the 5th principle is to write it out. Write a clear, concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire. Name the time limit for its acquisition. State what you intend to give in return for the money, and describe clearly the plan through which you intend to accumulate it. Again, I love it because it's saying to make sure you write the vision and make it plain, right? You're making it plain, and as you're continuing to review it and look at it, it submits into your subconscious, and now you start doing the proper steps in order to get in order to, get to that desired goal. And number 6, it says, read your written statement aloud. Wow, that means that you have to write it in your journal. And I go back to it because I just fell in love with the concept of journaling. And like Coach Mike said, Napoleon Hill took a 20-year journey of journaling, right? 20 years. Can you imagine that? Without any pay, because he was building and building. And that's one of the concepts of being an entrepreneur. I think that entrepreneurship is not for the faint at heart, because to be able to do that year after year after year and just stay focused, right? That's what journaling does, right? So staying focused. So reading it aloud, reading that written statement aloud, not once a day, but twice a day. That means you have to write it in your journal. Once just before retiring at night, and then once upon rising in the morning. So you have it fresh in your mind in the morning, and then you have it the last thing at night. This is again how, that burning desire to just, without any, hesitation, my burning desire is to accomplish this goal. It's like the sun just blazing down on a spot, right? If it's just all over the place, it's not as hot, but it's just blazing on one spot, it's hot, right? And that's how our burning desire has to be. As you read, see, feel, and believe yourself already in possession of the money, right? So no matter where you are, I think there was a saying that said, fake it till you make it, right? So it's saying, make sure that you feel it, believe that you're already there. So when you believe it in your mind, man, I'm telling you, there is nothing that you can't accomplish, right? And that's what it means to actually take these steps. There's another part, and as I write in my book, you won't be able to borrow my book because you're looking at it and I have notes all over the place and I have my little highlighters because that's what helps cement it in my brain. A burning desire to be and to do is the starting point for which the dreamer must take off. Dreams are not born of indifference. This is key. I highlighted this so much that, you know what? I highlighted this so much I almost can't read it because it's in blue highlight, but it was so important. Dreams are not born of indifference, laziness, or lack of ambition. Those are the things that will not allow you to reach those dreams, but you have to turn it over to the positive and say, I'm not going to be indifferent, I'm not going to be lazy, and I'm not going to have the lack of ambition, right? So one of the stories that I think is just stuck in my heart and just cemented and just really helped me to drill that point home about a burning desire. I'm not sure if everybody have heard the story or saw the movie about Helen Keller. But Helen Keller became deaf and dumb, blind shortly after birth. Despite her great misfortune, she has written her name in indelible pages of history of the great. Her entire life has served as evidence that no one ever is defeated until defeat has been accepted as a reality, right? Nobody, right? So I love her story because she I remember watching the movie too, and the expectations initially weren't set real high for her, but the expectations became higher when she had her coach, her mentor, her teacher to say, wait a minute, the behavior that she was displaying was not okay. It wasn't conducive for her success, right? So her teacher had a burning desire to help her to overcome the challenges that she had. And she went on to accomplish greatness because her teacher poured into her. It wasn't acceptable for her to walk around the table grabbing off of everybody's plate, right? That was not acceptable. But what was acceptable was that she could do it. She could sit down and she could eat properly at the table. So again, having a burning desire, in this instance, her teacher had a burning desire. She poured into her, and then it became Helen Keller's burning desire to accomplish and achieve greatness. So I'm just so excited to walk through this journey with you, Coach Mike. Like you said before, we were on the Think and Grow Rich Napoleon Hill journey before we met one another. And as we came together in a partnership and we solidified this and pulled all of it together. So it's so important that you grab a hold of your Think and Grow Rich copy and that you make this a part of your everyday and that you're journaling every single day. So Coach Mike, was there anything else that you wanted to add?
Yes, I'll just add a couple more seconds of nuggets within the 6 ways to turn desires into gold. Dr. Liz and I both shared a story, an individual story with you. So you never tell a story without a point, and you never make a point without a story. So the points of both of our individual stories come as follows out of the Think and Grow Rich book. Every human being who reaches the age of understanding of the purpose of money wishes for it. Wishing will not bring riches, but desiring riches with a state of mind that becomes an obsession, then planning definite ways and means to acquire riches and backing those plans with persistence does not recognize failure will bring riches. And the word riches means whatever your desire or burning desire is. 2 of our results are the books that are behind us. We both are published authors. We had a desire that turned into a burning desire, just like Napoleon Hill, to come up to be published authors. And had we not did the persistence or had the burning desire, would not see those books behind us as part of our accomplishment, as part of our achievements, and part of our results that we can list as following the 13 original principles and the 6 ways to turn desires into gold out of principle number 1 from Napoleon Hill. So as you look in the mirror of your mind, body, heart, and soul, principle number 1, a burning desire. And this is the key. It's in the title. Think and grow rich. Everybody put your hands on your heads and your temples like me and just say, think and grow rich. One more time. Think and grow rich. Finally, think and grow rich. Over to you, Dr. Liz.
Yes, yes, yes. Ooh, that's so good. That's good, good. Make sure that you click the links below. Grab your copy of Think and Grow Rich and also your copy of your journal so that we can start doing this, the same thing that Napoleon Hill did. He journal his journey, right? So make sure you click the links below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Remember, leaders are readers, powered by the Book Review Cafe. Bye for now.